welcome back to another video. So as you would have seen from the title and the thumbnail, today's video is going to be about all of my reading stats for 2023. So I normally combine this with Spotify and Receptify, but I have already done the Spotify video. I'll link it up above. Receptify is actually like February when I'm filming this, so I don't think the stats will be very accurate. So oh well. I'm just gonna do without. But the main things that I'm going to be talking about are my Goodreads end of year statistics, storygraph reading wrap up, the normal storygraph stats for 2023, and the end of year reading survey. So yeah, those are the 4 things that I'm going to be talking about. And without further ado, let's begin. I'm going to talk about the Goodreads one first. I'm going to show screenshots instead of a screen recording. This is my Goodreads portion of the video. So I read a total of 90 books in 2023 and a total of 33,269 pages. Honestly, this page count I don't really trust because, as you would notice later on, I read an audiobook but it became like 10 pages of a book, so I don't really trust this. But look at my cawpile one later. 90 books is actually the lowest number of books I've read in a while. 2022 I read 147. Okay, honestly I can totally see why I only read 90 because last year I graduated from uni. I went on how many trips did I go to last year? I went on 6 trips last year. So honestly didn't have time to read a lot, and after I graduated I was busy traveling. After traveling I started to work, and after work it's just like no energy left to even read, you know. So actually 90 books is still a lot. It's just lower than my normal, which I honestly think this is the new normal now that I'm going to have to accept, because now it's just a lot of work ahead of me. If not, I'll just be traveling. So I'm adjusting to a new life stage, and yeah, this is going to be the new norm from now on. I really still love reading, just that I don't have as much time to do so and as much mental space. Still gonna read as much as I can though. And okay, this is the part where I was talking about. So my longest book was Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare, 845 pages. My shortest book is Daughter of the Siren Queen, which honestly is not, because I read this as an audiobook. Not sure why Goodreads logged it as 10 pages. So yeah. Average book length in 2023 was 369 pages. My most shelved book was Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus, and my least shelved was Bearing Witness. So 23 shelves versus 2,298,205 shelves. My average rating for 2023 was 3.3, which is 0.1 higher than 2022, which I honestly count as a win because it means that my reading has been slightly better. My highest rated book on Goodreads was Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare, which is the last book in the Infernal Devices trilogy, and my first review of the year was for The Hacienda. Just gonna skip through all the books shown here because this is actually featured in every single book I read in 2023, which was the previous video. And my last review of the year was Maybe Next Time by Saska Major. So my goal for last year was 86 books and I read 90, which was honestly quite a stretch. Like I was struggling towards the end to actually finish my reading goal. So now let's move on to my storygraph stats 2023 reading wrap up. So I finished reading 90 books across 33,989 pages. It's higher than the Goodreads stats. My first book was The Hacienda, last book was Maybe Next Time by Saska Major, and this is a mood map of my reading. Lighter books push up the line and darker books pull the line down. So I was struggling in January. I was reading a lot of darker books, and then throughout the year it's just been like gravitating towards lighter books. Oh, I rode a roller coaster of emotions, enjoyed some light-hearted fun, and embarked on exciting adventures. Most of the stories developed at a steady pace. So this graph is for books and pages read per month in 2023. I read the most in May, 4,840 pages, 13 books, followed by in December, 4,140 pages and 12 books. Then the rest of the year was just like a up and down. The least number of books read was in June, 5 books read, 1,980 pages. Makes sense because I was barely in Singapore in June. I was traveling. The genres I spent the most time with in 2023, oh my god, this is new news, okay? The top genre is romance, followed by contemporary, then fantasy, then young adult, then historical. All my life, I have been a fantasy reader. This year, the top genre just changed to romance, okay? No one is more surprised than me. I think because for me, life was like very heavy. I just wanted something light to get through the time, and so so I gravitated towards a lot more romance, which is like, oh, am I a romance reader now? I don't know, but okay, we shall see for 2024 how it goes. But yeah, really surprising. Longest book, okay, this is the accurate one. Longest book is Train of Thorns, 752 pages. Shortest book is Bearing Witness, 52 pages. Same stats, average length of the books I read was 369 pages, and it took me around 5 days to finish each book. The least time spent on a book was 1 day reading The Hacienda, and the most time spent was 19 days reading Work-Life Balance, Malevolent Managers, and Folkloric Freelancers. The authors I spent the most time with in 2023 is Cassandra Clare, 6 books, then Trisha Levenseller, 3 books, then Ali Hazelwood, 2 books. Mostly because of the series that I've read, but yeah. Oh, this is a bit different. Okay, because Storygraph, they let me rate books at 0.25s, 0.5, 0.75. So my 2023 average rating was 3.4, which is even higher. Okay, very good. And these are my 5-star reads in 2023, a total of 9 books. Then my 2023 ratings graphs over here. I rated 14 books 3.5 stars, followed by 11 books 2.5 stars, then 10 books 2.75 stars, then 9 books 5 stars. Oh, some months were better than others. In January, I had the highest average reading of 4.21, even though I remember the previous graph said that I read the most darker moods books. And then September wasn't my favorite month with an average rating of 2.8. In May, I read the most number of pages with 4,840, which I've mentioned before. Oh, my most shelved is different on the Storygraph. Most shelved is If We Were Villains, 198,729 users. And then the least shelved is the same, Bearing Witness, with 6 users. Highest rated book is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow with 4.56 stars. I explored the works of 43 new authors, including Benjamin Chi, Samantha Young, and Rachel Burton. 36 of the books I read were part of a series. I revisited a total of 4 books this year. I decided not to finish 11 of the books I picked up this year, and I read 10 books from my own shelves this year. This is not accurate, I would think, because again, very bad of me, but I still have not marked books I owned as owned on a Storygraph, so yeah. Okay, so that's my Storygraph 2023 reading wrap up. Let's go to the whole year stats on Storygraph. So these are all the moods that I have read from. The most being emotional, 46 books, then lighthearted, 33, and then adventurous, 27, funny, 26, dark, 24. Okay, for pace of books, I read mostly medium paced books, then fast paced, then slow paced. I honestly don't like slow paced books. Page numbers, 79% were in the 300 to 499 page numbers, 11% less than 300, 10% 500 plus. 97% of the books I read were fiction, 3% non-fiction, and then genres, the whole list is over here. 38 romance books, 37 contemporary, 30 fantasy, and 27 young adult. Okay, this is not accurate, but the text of books in which I read from, 3 were own TBR, 3 were favorites. The format, this is actually very surprising. 50% were print books, 41% were digital, 9% were audio. Most of the years, my most read format is actually digital. So I think I've been using more of the library this year, reading more of the books that were gifted to me or from my own shelves. But this stat might change because in cawpile, I would think that the most would be mixed media, which is you combine either print and audio, print and digital, or digital and audio, things like that. Most read authors apart from Cassandra Clare and Trisha Levenseller, Emma Lord, Lynn Painter, Margaret Rogerson, Sarah Adams, Tessa Dare, Jen DeLuca, Grady Hendricks, and R.F. Kwong. All books that I read last year were in English. Then this is the number of pages read which I've gone through. Star ratings I've also gone through. Yeah, please excuse me for being an idiot because I forgot to go through cawpile. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go. Okay, I'm gonna screen record for this because I'm too tired. Books read per month is an increasing trend. Same with pages read per month. I forgot to log a book because I confirmed read 90 books in 2023. Total hours listened was 452.8 hours. Books DNF'd per month, the most was in July, 3 books. Then hours listened per month, I listened to a lot of audiobooks in May, 101.3 hours. Then April and October, 53 hours. Hours listened is a decreasing trend as we progress along the year. Okay, my main reasons for DNFing are mostly annoying characters and low intrigue. I read all my books in English. Why is it 998? Oh, wait, is it because... Yeah, it's because the sheet was already filled with English. Okay, yes, I'm correct. My main reading method is mixed media, 59.6%, followed by ebook, 19.2%, and physical, 17.2%. Rereads versus first time, 94.9% first time. Series versus standalone. I read 63.6% of my books as standalones and 36.4% as a series. I started 13 series, read 8 sequels, finished 8 series, and decided not to continue 10 series. Okay, yeah. Similarly, my main genre is romance, 31.3%, followed by fantasy, 29.3%. And then the main 3 genres are mystery, contemporary, and literary fiction at 6.1% each. My most read book lengths are 32 books in 350 to 400 pages. Book formats are mostly novels, 94.9%, and 2% novella. I've read a total of 3 translated books. 2 of them were Korean and 1 of them was Japanese original language. How I got the books: 70.4% was library, 13.3% owned, 14.3% gifted, 2% ARCs. Star ratings, most of them were 3 stars. To be specific, most of them were 3.5 stars, followed by 3 stars, then 2.5 stars, 4 stars, and then 2, 4.5, and 5 stars are the same percentage. My average rating was 3.5, but this is not as accurate as Storygraph because Storygraph allows 4.25s. Oh, I read 65.7 adult books, followed by 28.3% young adult books, then 4% new adult books. 31.3% of the books I read last year were published in 2023, followed by 2022, 26.3%. LGBTQ plus rep, still a number that I'm working on, 55.9% absent, 33.3% present, 10.8% main character. Breakdown is mostly bi, gay, sapphic. Disability rep, 52.7% absent, 25.3% main character, 22% present. Breakdown is mostly physical. Physical, there are 2 stats. I think I forgot to put the capital. So mostly physical. Then panic attacks, then addiction. Authors, 79.8% were non-POC. For the 20.2% that were POC, the breakdown is 72.2% Asian, then Black, then the rest Latino, Muslim, Latinx are the same percentage, 5.6%. 85.9% of the books I read were written by women. Nationality of the authors, 65.7% American, 8.1% British. Oh my god, number of books per author, yeah, I've gone through in the Storygraph one. And okay, 53.5% of authors that I've read books last year, I've read from them before. 46.5% were new authors to me. So let's look at the end of year reading survey. I'll go get the books to answer the questions. Okay, so I got these questions from Gabby Reed's video. I just reused the questions. So first question is how many books did I read, which was 90, as I've already explained. And did I meet my reading goal? Yes, but it was very much a struggle. At the end, I was like trying to find those shorter books so I could quickly clear. So this year, actually, my reading goal, I lowered it down to 80 compared to 2023, which is 86, right? Yeah, because I don't think I'll have enough time and I don't want to give myself so much pressure. The longest and shortest books I read, I've already answered: Bearing Witness and Chain of Thorns. The favourite book I read that was published in 2023 is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. So sweet, so cute. My favourite debut book in 2023 was actually Welcome to the Hyunam Dong Bookshop. The English translated version, which was translated by a Singaporean, came out in 2023, and I read it and I was like, so many of these quotes resonate with me, and it's a really important message to remind myself of. My favourite book not published this year was Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. I believe it came out in 2022. I love it so much. I still have yet to watch the book adaptation, so hopefully we'll get to that this year. A book that lived up to the hype for me was Better Than the Movies. Oh my goodness, I was so apprehensive going into this, as I've explained in my previous videos. Because it's YA, I don't really read from YA anymore. But it's so good, it gave me butterflies in my stomach. Not many romance books can do that, especially YA. So yeah, a book on the other hand that did not live up to the hype was If We Were Villains. I just think that the genre is not for me. A book that felt like the biggest accomplishment, Babel by R.F. Kuang. because look at this thick boy. It honestly felt like I was reading a textbook at some point in the story, but I wanted to persevere on. I'm also selling this on my Carousel. If people are interested and you live in Singapore, please hit me up. My favourite characters are 630 and Elizabeth Zott. 630 and Elizabeth Zott in Lessons in Chemistry, Annie and Will in Practice Makes Perfect. My least favourite characters are Jane and June in the book Yoke. Honestly, I think they're very toxic and I don't like how they treat each other, how they view the world basically. My most shocking book/moment was allegedly the last page or chapter, a final review. Oh my god, I was so angry. I don't want to believe it exists. So yeah, most shocking is definitely that. A close second would be a certain character death in Queen of Thorns. Still not over it. Still very angry about it. Okay, my favourite couple/OTP, I have 4. Will and Annie in Practice Makes Perfect, Tara and Trevor in X's and O's. Oh, so cute. Liz and Wes in Better Than the Movies, and Brianna and Jacob in Yours Truly. Honestly, still have more, but I didn't want to list too many, so yeah. Okay, my favourite book cover of the year. I honestly debated quite a while. I think I have 2 answers. So firstly, it was Babel by R.F. Kuang, because just look at how pretty this is. How can? Oh my god. And the second one is actually Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. Just the original paperback copy is already very pretty, but there is this hardcover version where the edges are sprayed. I have to put a picture, it's so pretty, oh my goodness. Yeah. And then my favourite book adaptation is Josie the Tiger and the Fish, which was a film but it's based on a short story of the same name. 5 stars, guys, just watch it. And after that would be Anxious People. I read the book and it's one of my favourites of 2022. I watched it and then I was like, oh, it reminds me of my reading experience when I was reading it. So yeah. What book made me cry the most? None, because I didn't cry at any book this year. What book made me laugh the most? I would say the whole Last Hours series, because Will is in this series, Will Herondale, and he's so funny. Yeah, as you can see, there are a lot of green tabs which are for funny moments. A new favourite author I discovered this year is Sanggu Mandana, who wrote The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Very cozy book. And Bonnie Garmus. Yes. A favourite book that I reread this year would be the Infernal Devices trilogy. I'm so sorry, I don't want to get it off my shelf, but here is the picture. Oh well, the last question. The best non-fiction book that I read this year is Nothing to Envy. I wouldn't put it in my favourite, but when reading it, I could tell that it was a really well-written book. And if you are really interested in the genre, or if you have just a bit of interest in North Korea, it will actually be a very good book because it goes through the stories of North Koreans who actually lived there and how it was like for them. So it was a very interesting read, just that it's not my preferred genre. So yeah. And with that, I have come to the end of this video. Oh my goodness, I feel like I sped through everything. I'm like a bit breathless now. This is actually the last book wrap-up video that I'll be filming for 2023. The previous 3, my best books, worst books, every single book I read, if you haven't watched them, I'll link them up above. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel to see more of such content. I hope you're having a great day or a great week whenever or wherever you're watching. Stay tuned to my K-drama or shows, best shows that I watched in 2023. Not sure when that will come out, hopefully soon. And yeah, here's to hoping that 2024 will be an even better reading year. Remember to stay hydrated and I'll see you in my next video.